got one scheme and that's one theme and that's my whole life and that's one love. One love, got one dream and that's one love. One love, we got one scheme and that's one love. One love, that's one theme and that's one love. It's one love, my whole life. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love, girl. All these girls keep chasing views like they doing something. They ain't doing nothing. And all these boys keep making moves cause they assuming something. Everybody doing fake friends like they crew or something. But all these people make my stomach sick like the flu or something. They crying X, 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 X cause they prince is gone. We might just flex, 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 flex cause I'm money long. They selling sex, 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 sex cause it's selling strong. I might just bag a check, 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 girl, and take you home. Yeah, real love, I owed you. Real love, I showed you. I wish for once that you would back me up, but I can't expect that I know you. Cause we been there and then we came through it. Backstabbed and then we undo it. A lot of people said they come through, but when it came to it, ain't one do it. We got one dream and that's we got one scheme and that's one theme and that's my whole life and that's one love. One love, got one dream and that's one love. One love, we got one scheme and that's one love. One love, that's one theme and that's one love. It's one love, my whole life. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I got my head down, arms are up. I didn't think life would be this rough. Back and forth, we went do-si-do, and then I packed my bags and I hit the road. We were making moves without a clue. I took my love away from you. Looking back, all regret. My chin is up and you puffed your chest. Cause we're coming for the go, girl, we won't stop. Working and we grind until we hit the top. Everyone is waiting for the love that we are chasing, and the haters will be hating, but we won't stop. Cause we running and we gunning. So watch out, cause we coming. One love, we in our feelings, and it's not gonna crumble, yeah. We got one dream and that's we got one scheme and that's one theme and that's my whole life and that's one love. One love, got one dream and that's one love. One love, we got one scheme and that's one love. One love, that's one theme and that's one love. That's one love, my whole life. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love. I said there's two of us, we got one dream and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Between the both of us, we got one scheme and that's one love. Yeah, that's one love. Our life together has one theme and that's one love. I said that's one love. I'd rather die than live my whole life without that one love. And you that one love, girl. And you that one love. One love. Man, it's too early in the morning for this shit. But let's get it. Yeah. Ay, all of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on their chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. I'm dropping slappers to hell with an album. Might fuck around and go see Jimmy Fallon. I multiply while you bury your talents. Cause I'm like a hawk when I bury my talents. Guess what I'm saying? I pray on these niggas. There was a day when I'd pray for these niggas. Now I got nothing to say to these niggas. I pray that God does away with these niggas. I keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. My mental is gross, but my verses are kosher. These girls going wild, but I'm not a poacher, so I just keep shining like Elon, I'm solar. All of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on their chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. Gotta make this money, only game I know. I'm the only king, this ain't no Game of Thrones. Everybody wanna be a fucking king until it's time to do what a king does. Everywhere I look, it's just kids and drugs. Everywhere I look, it's just gangs and thugs. Can't tame the guns, can't save our loved ones. I grew my funds and I called the plug. Then I filled my lungs, I don't mess with that new shit. Y'all talking tough, but ain't none of y'all do shit. Y'all chasing money, you want the exposure. Y'all think y'all funny and snake Gucci loafers. I don't give disclaimers, I rap full disclosure. These niggas all think they were born in October. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have stacks on plus stacks when I'm older. Stacks when I'm older. Yeah, stacks when I'm older. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have millions in cash when I'm older. All of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, put nuts on their chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swole, Norma.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustles, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swole back with another episode, and today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everston K2, flexing on all you beaches. Welcome to the show, Tuesday, August the 5th, 3378. Thanks for being here. Today we are rocking the gray GTTFG hat and the purple More You Know, Fuck Your Feelings. My goodness. Make sure you check out SwoleNormusX.com to join the fam. And of course, PapaSwolio.com for all the new merch. Yesterday, we had our Accountability Monday episode, and we dropped a new design over at PapaSwolio.com. That is fire. Aww. Go check it out. 20% off the entire site. The Not So Little Swole Maid You might like The Little Mermaid. It was originally the Not So Little Swole Maid, and of course, my IP got yanked. So, got the shaft on that. Missed out on an easy Billy, for sure. But you can make it up to me by heading on over to papaswolio.com and checking out that new merch, the Not So Little Swole Maid, now available, papaswolio.com. Let's get into that tip. Bishan, we got some Swole
just
fam
an
posts.
inch, just an inch. It's cold outside.
All right. Asked the Swole fam about mobility. What would you wish you would tell your younger self? What advice would you give to someone that's just starting off with mobility? And we got a couple more responses. This one's from Danny. I would try to stress how important it is, especially as we age. And this is one of those things that I talk a lot about because mobility should be something that you're integrating with your strength training. It is strength. It's strength through a full range of motion, Jefferson curls, sissy squats, Cossack squats, taking your joints to a full range of motion and training them with resistance. And it's very important to focus on your overall ability to move through that full range of motion with strength. And there are certain exercises that you should be implementing. People should be able to do pull-ups and push-ups and Nordic curls and sissy squats. I mean, it really is important. Make sure you focus on those fundamentals because as you get more muscular, as you get older, you don't want to get stiff. You don't want to lose that mobility. So make sure you are focusing on that. Please don't neglect pillar number 5. Emily says, I would tell my younger self to prioritize myself. Allow myself to introduce myself. Stop people pleasing and please yourself. Don't let people stop you from working out and loving yourself. In other words, fuck everyone else's opinions and feelings about what you're doing for yourself. I agree with that, Emily. This one's from Keith. Invest in an index. This is about mobility. Mobility, bro. Invest in an index equity fund that guarantees you zero loss on your money. So when you're in your 40s and 50s, you can live life any way you want and take care of your health. All right, not financial advice. I would also recognize that index equity funds don't keep up with the cost of inflation and the devaluation of the currency. So it does not outpace inflation. So be mindful of things like real estate and general index equities. I recommend you learn more about Bitcoin. My recommendation, not financial advice either way, but investing is important. Own assets. So I agree. Own assets. That's not mobility, but I guess mobility meaning mobility in your life. You have more mobility. You have financial mobility. All right. Not necessarily the topic we were going to focus on, but Ayo. Michelle says, yo, Bish, the advice I would give my younger self would be to practice squatting. At almost 42 years old, I cannot go ass to the grass with squats. Ass to the grass. It's not ass to grass. It's the grass. At almost 42, I cannot go ass to the grass. I cannot put the ass into the grass. I found the grass, but my ass cannot go there. I have been working on my range of motion for the past few months and can't seem to break anything lower than parallel. Well, keep practicing. Keep practicing. You know, do those step downs, reverse sled, elevate, do the elevated knees over toes lunges. And honestly, a lot of times people can't get those deep squats because their hip flexors are too weak. So strengthening your hip flexors using a monkey foot, a kettlebell, a band, very important to train those hip flexors because it helps you anteriorly tilt the pelvis and get down into that deep squat with a flat back. And it helps you focus more on those quads. Sheena says, I would tell myself to start training mobility in my 20s after having a desk job. For 2 decades, I didn't know when I was younger how much that sitting that long every day was going to fuck up my hips, lower back, and even my arms and shoulders from typing and using the mouse. I took for granted the ability to move around pain-free back then. I only wish I knew then what I know now. Isn't that wisdom? And I could have avoided herniated discs, tendonitis, and shoulder impingements. Indeed. And remember, when you are sitting passively, you are shortening the length of some muscles and you are also weakening them. So your hip flexors might be tight. People say, oh, I have tight hip flexors. Well, they're tight, but they're also weak because you're sitting. If you're sitting in a hip flex position, people say their hip flexors get tight. That's kind of true, but it's really not. You're getting stiff, you're getting petrified, but they're also weak because you're not actively lifting your thigh up towards your chest. You're not actively using those hip flexors. So they're passively shortening and getting tight and stiff. So you need to strengthen them through a full range of motion. All right, let's move on to some knowledge cock. Thanks for the questions and for the responses, actually. Those are Swole text. So thank you for all those responses. Appreciate them. There's no wrong answer. I kind of tease back and forth a little bit sometimes when we get some funny responses, but that's all via Swole text. Join the fam over at swolenormousx.com. Let's get into some questions. We'll load up Instagram and drop your questions in the comments. First question of the day.
What's in the box?
First question is from SY Akid04 from Instagram stories. Drop your questions in the comments. We are live on Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole. You can also subscribe to The Daily Swole podcast every day on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Today's episode is 3,378. Papa Swole, how to make my body look like you. Oh, that's so sweet. Aww. Well, you're never going to look like me because you're not me, but you can lift heavy weights and eat properly, get sun, grow a beard and long hair, and do that for decades. How about that? How about that? Wesley the Real on Instagram. What's the cardio routine, Papa Swolio? Well, you have to ask Mama Swolio.
Because
Make sure you come on over so you catch all the soundboards and the visuals. So cardio is the easiest thing you could do. Go for a walk. You can do incline walking on a treadmill. You can do sprints. It's just much more important for high intensity, shorter interval training. You don't have to do prolonged, excessive cardio. If you're trying to build muscle, keep it more high intensity, short duration, and make sure you don't impinge your recovery and you don't negatively affect your fatigue ratio so you can recover and train hard again. A lot of times people do way too much cardio and it comes down to your nutrition and your overall other habits. You can do cardio until you pass out. It's really not ideal if you're trying to maintain muscle mass. Don't overdo it. A lot of people overdo it. Imal Banyo, 94, Papa Swolio. Papa, or hi, Papa. I break my elbow. Any advice for training? Thank you. Jesus Christ.
Matt Damon.
Take care of that elbow, bro. You broke your elbow. Good stuff. Good talk. Good talk. Don't do anything that's going to aggravate your elbow. Jesus Christ. I broke my leg. What do I do for squats? All right, if you're watching on Instagram, drop your questions in the comments. We'll stay here as long as we get some questions. The Life of Megatron on Instagram. What's your opinion on energy drinks? Garbage. Drink some coffee. Energy drinks are poison. They really are. All right. Sterling on Rumble. Papa Swolio, been consistent for 3 months. Now I'm focusing more on nutrition. I'm eating clean eggs, steak, chicken, no junk. Do calories matter as much if I'm eating healthy and hitting protein goal? Everything matters. Everything always matters. I'm not sure what you mean. Do calories matter? Of course they matter. You want to make sure you have sufficient. So they always matter, but it depends on how much they matter if you need to track or eat more or eat less. So they always matter. Everything matters, but it just depends on how much it matters. Calories, the quantity of calories don't matter as much as the quality of where those calories are coming from. So there's things that are more important. You're not going to build muscle just by eating more protein. You're going to build muscle by providing the proper stimulus and then hitting it more regularly, right? Providing that stimulus as frequently as you can with proper recovery. And of course, protein matters and nutrition matters. But you're not going to build muscle just by eating more protein, right? You have to provide that stimulus. So there's certain tiered priorities in terms of what you need to do to build muscle. You have to provide the stimulus. Cool. You also need to recover. You need to repair. You need to fuel your body. So there's certain priority tiers, like a little pyramid. How do you get more vascular? From Gabe on Instagram. Leaner. You got to get leaner. Some people have more surface level veins. Some people are naturally more vascular, but you're going to get leaner. You're going to get more vascular when you get leaner. Nacho Guitar on Instagram. Papa Soy, how often do you increase reps / weights to keep pushing your training? Whenever I can. So you want to make sure that you are progressively overloading when you can. So if you did 100 pounds for 8 reps last time, you can go up to 110 pounds and try to get 8 reps. Or what I would recommend is working within a rep range, whether it's 5 to 10 or 4 to 8 or 4 to 10, something like that. Start with a lower repetition range, push yourself, maybe doing 5 or 6 reps. And then when those reps start getting towards 8, 9, or 10, then you add more weight, bring it down to 5 or 6. You could do this with any rep range. The higher repetitions, the more fatigue. You might prefer that on certain body parts. You could build muscle with a wide range of reps. It's really the proximity to failure, but you can gauge the proximity to failure much better when you're training heavier. So I would recommend just increasing the weight once you hit that higher end of the rep range and then continue from there. Hashtag stay swole for a chance to win today's swole card if you're watching on Rumble.
The little rascal has spirit.
Drop that hashtag for a chance to win today's swole card. All right, let's follow up with, let's see, high taxes, no incentive. Papa Swole, how does psychological stress affect testosterone? That's going to depend on different people, but I would really recommend associating stress, mental and physical stress, with cortisol. This is why sleep is important. This is why lowering your stress, mindfulness, meditation is very beneficial. Sauna, cold plunge, these things can lower cortisol and improve your just overall recovery, which is going to improve your testosterone. So stress is something that you're going to get from training, you're going to get from your job. And really it's all about, and a lot of times that internalized stress is really just how you're reacting to life. So staying more even keel, having more purpose, having a certain focus, taking care of your controllables, right? Eating properly, exercising, getting quality sleep, getting sunlight, going out and touching grass with your feet. Don't be wearing shoes on grass. Go outside, be a human. And that's going to lower your cortisol levels and lower stress levels, which will aid in recovery. So it definitely matters. It absolutely matters. And this is something that can factor in if you're journaling or if you're tracking your workouts, if you're hitting kind of a plateau and you're not increasing strength the way you should be and you're paying attention to your food, X, Y, and Z. Mental stress does matter. Psychological stress does matter. And remember, when you're training, it doesn't mean that you're going to increase weight and strength every single session. So it's not like linear. You don't just, hey, I'm training every day and I'm eating X, Y, and Z. I should just grow. There's sometimes other factors. And remember, this peters out over time. You're not going to increase strength the same way throughout the rest of your life. You're going to hit a peak at some point. You're going to squat the most you've ever squatted and the most you'll ever will squat. You know, the goal is to find and adapt and adjust your training to build muscle to the best of your ability at any different phase of your life, age, and experience. Duoexia. Stress is what screws me up, and by the time I get home, I'm too exhausted to work out. This is why you should do it first. And I understand some of you have physically laborious jobs. You're doing physical jobs, or it's just mentally exhausting too, or you're stocking shelves and you're just mentally exhausted. This is why you have to train first. And even if you work at 6 or 7 a.m., you really got to get up at 3, 4 o'clock. I'm telling you, I know it sounds, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's just doing it first, whenever that is, 7, 8 o'clock, doing it before your work will make sure you get yours in. You should be prioritizing that. Some people say, oh, I like to work out after training, after work because it helps me unload stress. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really believe that too much. I think you're just you're compromising your workout by doing it after. If you have a lot of stress, it's negatively affecting your workout. You're just not prioritizing it, right? If you go to work first and train after, you're prioritizing your work. I would recommend busting ass, getting to sleep early, getting up early, and starting your day with a workout. It'll make your work the rest of the day less stressful, even if it's physical. Yagnesh, my legs have a lot of muscle compared to my upper body, and pants have stopped fitting. How do I lose muscle only in my legs? Why would you want to lose muscle in your legs? Get some bigger pants. If it's actually muscle, not fat, chances are it's more fat than muscle. You want to lose muscle in your legs? You could stop training your legs as often. I'd love to see what physique this looks like. But if you don't train certain body parts that are getting overstimulated. Everyone's going to have certain body parts, or not everyone, but some people have certain ones that will grow faster or more readily than others. So you can train them less frequently, perhaps. If you have overdeveloped shoulders or triceps or anterior deltoids, it's your exercise selection. Maybe adjust and prioritize different body parts. Prioritize your upper body more. Who the hell has two big legs? Who has bigger legs than upper body? It's hard to grow your legs. Maybe soccer players or something like that. People that do speed cycling or some sort of sprint work might have bigger legs than upper body. Danny Shalast. Nice.
I give it a 10. A 10! A fucking
Papa
10!
Swolio, best workout for building your glutes besides the typical squat. Well, squats don't really build your glutes that much. Squats are not good for, I mean, I'm not saying they're not good for glutes, but squats are not glute focused. If you're doing a standard proper squat, it's quads. It's quads and adductors. So will you get some glute activation? Sure. You're not hitting your hamstrings. If anything, you're getting slight glutes. You're getting more adductors in the deep squat, and you're getting quads. So if you want to hit your glutes, you can do barbell or machine hip thrusts. You could do kickbacks. You can do 45-degree banded hypers. Dumbbells are good too, but those are hit more hamstrings than the band. You could do, if you're on a Smith machine and it's an angled Smith machine, you can go reverse style. So the bar is going up, or you're going in the direction of the angled Smith, not usually the standard way they want you to go. So for squats, the weight's going to go more toward, the angle will go more towards your toes. If you turn around, you get more of a hip hinge. So you can do kind of elevated reverse lunges, and that's great for glutes. You could do RDLs. We'll get not get hamstrings, but adductors and a little bit more glutes. Stiff leg deadlifts will also hit glutes as well. That's what I would recommend. You could also do the abductor machine. Lean forward a little bit more for the glute max, lean back for the medius and for the gluteus minimus. Mike, Papa, so I've seen more content on rope flow, and it's got me interested. Do you have any thoughts on it? Rope flow? Explain that for me. Like jump rope? It's clubs, maces. Everyone's just trying to invent something to swing around, I guess. I mean, not really sure. I mean, it's just another type of thing to swing and move, I'm assuming, if that's what you're talking about. Everything kind of has its moment. Everything has there's always I don't want to say a gimmick, but there's always some sort of thing that people are trying to, hey, look, this is new. The human body's the same, right? If you want to build muscle, you lift heavy weights. If you want to do rope flow because you like the coordination and it's fun, then you can do it. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I'd have to actually see what you're referring to. There's always something. Always something that's... Asgar Ali, Papa Soy, should I take a rest day in every week? Yeah, you should take a couple. Rye Guy 44, Papa Soy, how much sunlight should I get per day? Yes, get sun. How much? I think it depends on where you are and what your tolerance is. So build up early morning and late evening. Make sure you're getting full body sun, not just your forearms and your calves. So you don't want to be roasting, but build up your tolerance and enjoy. Enjoy. Get that sun and don't be putting on sunblock and all that chemical trash. You're the reason why I go to the fucking gym. Why, thank you. Appreciate you. Drop your questions in the comments. We'll stay here for a couple minutes if we get some more questions. Ben Peterson, working out first thing in the morning is the ticket for me. Whenever I wait until the afternoon, I use the excuse of being wiped out from dealing with my students as the reason not to get to work. Mental exhaustion is bullshit. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Do it first. You do it first and you don't have that excuse. And actually, it gives you more energy. You guys know after you work out, you might be physically... Remember, you're not training to the point of... You're not trying... The goal of lifting weights, the goal of going to the gym and training is not to exhaust yourself. We have to get people off. They're still going to do this. CrossFit popularized this a lot. It's training until you're fucking blasted. That's not the goal. The goal is to do the work required and then recover. So you should actually feel physically like, whew, I finished the workout, but you should feel invigorated. You might feel temporarily right after your last set or something like, wow, that was a hard workout, but you should feel invigorated because you didn't dig that hole so deep. You didn't destroy your body. You provided a stimulus. Remember, the goal is stimulus. And once you train harder and you decrease the volume, you realize how sore you get from increasing the intensity. You realize how little volume you actually need and you recover faster. So the way I train, I feel it that same day afterwards and the next day. I don't get as sore because I'm not creating that type of chronic fatigue and I'm not throwing in random exercise all the time. But I will feel sore. I will feel some fatigue, but I recover quickly. And it just gives me more energy all the time. Sam says my energy level goes through the roof for the day when I work out early. Yeah, you really shouldn't be destroyed. You shouldn't be incapacitated. If you're doing that, then you're training for exhaustion. You're training to be incapacitated. And if you're training to be incapacitated, that's a ton of fatigue, and then it's going to take you longer to recover. Remember, frequency matters when it comes to strength training, especially if you're a natural lifter. You're not taking all these peptides and anabolic steroids and stuff. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I think as more science comes out, peptides and these things have a big future. I've never dabbled with them, but there's a lot of things that people can take and do. The goal is not to blast yourself. The goal, again, is to provide the stimulus. When you understand how muscle gets built, you provide the stimulus, and then you repair, right, locally in the muscle tissue, but also your central nervous system. So if you're mentally exhausted, what do you think stimulates muscle contraction? What do you think stimulates motor unit recruitment? It's your central nervous system. So if your nervous system is blasted, if you're not getting sleep, if you're stressed out, if you're just wiped, it's going to negatively affect your training. This is why you should do it first. Prioritize it. You're going to have more energy. You'll feel more lit during the day. Promise you. High taxes, no incentive. I love the name. Taxation is theft. Papasolio, when I cook meat, it loses a lot of water weight. Indeed. Makes me wonder if I'm overestimating the amount of protein it contains from the nutrition label. Do stores cut meat with water? Do they cut meat with water? Like, do they, I mean, it counts for the weight, if that's what you're saying. Of course. Well, you're supposed to not drain the water, but you leave the salt. When you salt the steak, you dab it off. You shouldn't be cooking like moist, wet meat. You should be blotting it. So before we cook the steak, we put salt all over it. It brings water out of the steak. You could leave it in the fridge overnight too, but if you want it fresher, you thaw it, salt it, let the water come out, dab it off, right? Wrap it in like a cotton cloth and get the water out. It'll cook better. It'll taste better. It won't splatter. You're not overestimating it. There's water in everything. Unless it's, just think about this. Anytime you're eating something that has any kind of moisture, it doesn't have moisture if you're cooking it and it's just like crispy and dry. If you're eating jerky, there's no water, right? You're dehydrating it. So steak always has hydration. Even when you're eating it after you cook it, it still has water in it. It still has hydration. And this is why if you sear it properly, it seals in the moisture in the steak. So if you're weighing a steak, I have a pound ribeye. That includes the water. That includes the water in the meat. Otherwise, it'd be dehydrated and jerky. Ricardo Salazar, I feel better and do more reps without creatine. Why? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. How are you actually tracking it? Creatine's great for physical and mental health. I take 10 to 20 grams a day. So I don't know if that's true. Maybe how you're tracking it. Maybe there's other factors. You're not taking it and you're getting better sleep. But creatine wouldn't have negative effects on your strength training. Sony online, Papa Swole, I want to go to the gym, but a lot of weirdos are recording and judging. I stick to walking in the park. Is that okay? Not if you want to build muscle, you need to lift heavy weights. Weirdos are recording and judging. Well, people always judge. We've evolved to judge. It's what keeps us out of trouble and keeps us away from harm. So you can't control what people think, and what people think is none of your business. And you don't really need to care what other people think. That's on you. So some people are recording. Maybe you find a different gym, or maybe you train in an area where they're not recording. They're not recording you. I used to record in gyms when I was training in commercial gyms, but I understand that people don't like to be recorded. Usually there's rules about that. But put a hat on, get to work, block out the noise. You can go for a walk in the park, but it's not going to help you build muscle, and building muscle is very important. Or you build out a home gym. VR Gamer, Papa Soy, I originally started trying to diet in January and kind of screwed up about summertime. I pay 30 pounds a month to go to the gym, but I never seem to go due to mental health, etc. I can't. What? Due to mental health? You're getting in your own way. You can't seem to motivate yourself to go. What would you do? Stop being a pussy and go. Don't hide behind mental health. This is the problem with therapy and all these different labels and OCD and ADHD and X, Y, and Z. This is just a psyop from pharmaceutical companies, just pretending and making individuality with humans. Of course, we have a lot of toxic food and shit that's leading to neurological and mental health issues, and the broken monetary system that's built on fiat and slave labor. It sucks. But at the same time, this is like when you create an issue, attention deficit disorder. You mean pounding yourself with tons of fucking sugar, not getting sunlight, not getting sleep, overstimulated with TV and phones and shit like that, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you'd have attention and you're doing something that you hate and you're bored and you're always trying to escape. You'd think you have ADHD too. If you get some sun, you meditate, you go in the sauna, you lift heavy weights, you get quality sleep, eat real food. You just have normal individuality. So the pharmaceutical companies have weaponized individuality so that you're getting prescribed all these fucking drugs. Stop labeling yourself and hiding behind it. Use that as a strength. Go to the fucking gym. Take control of your life. Most therapy is just navel gazing, focusing on all your problems rather than doing the things required to get you better. Extended support release. Thoughts on carnivore diet? I think carnivore diet's great. I think people try it or should try it, especially if you have a lot of autoimmune issues. And I think a lot of people do it wrong. They don't eat all-encompassing foods. They don't eat organ meats. I don't like carnivore long-term. I like carbohydrates, but I focus mostly on animal proteins and fats. If anything, you could do carnivore for a couple months and then slowly add back in certain foods and then see how you adjust. Mark says people use mental health as their identity, and these therapists just want money and not to actually help you. Therapy is to reminisce in the past instead of moving forward. I generally agree. And I think it's not necessarily the case across the board. Some therapists are good and they can really help you and they don't want to have you long term. I know people that went to a therapist, had like 5 or 10 sessions, really helped them get through some stuff. And the therapist was saying, my goal is you're on your own. And then he backed off and it wasn't to have a long term. So that person was good. And I think there's good people out there that their goal is to get you to not need them. But just like that, there are a lot of people that will sit there and just talk and think about your issues and overanalyze. And then psychiatrists and stuff. Psychiatry is absolute scam and just prescribe you drugs and shit. It's a hot mess. It just gets you on a prescription subscription. And then you're there every fucking week talking about your problems and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, some things actually work, but the intent behind it has to be clear. So if you're going to a therapist and they're saying, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, your goal, your track is to not have me. I think you need that. You need that. Yeah, Ben Peterson says, I've been in therapy, but the ones that are worth a damn actually encourage you to get your ass out and get active. Stagnation drives you down deeper. Yep. So you have to look, again, when we say doctors don't know anything about nutrition, does that mean all doctors don't? No, of course. That's hyperbolic. That's being general. But overall, I would say 98% of doctors don't know anything about nutrition and health. And they're just giving you prescriptions and trying to pay off their medical debt, whether it's the debt on their office, their malpractice insurance, they're putting food on the table, X, Y, and Z, and they have to see so many patients and hire all these PAs because they can't see everyone and spend time. So, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors. It's just overwhelmingly ignorance. It's about keeping you sick more than actually getting you healthy. Most people don't get sun. They don't have enough vitamin D. They don't have quality nutrition. So you're fucking freaking out. People are freaking out all the time because they're hopped up on sugar and then constantly getting stimulated by a strobe light. Your cell phones and stuff are strobe lights. I try to keep my phone, I keep my phone in the office. I'm off it most of the time. Sure, I don't get back to text messages as quickly. I'm not on call for people. I'm not a doctor. I don't need to be responding every time someone has a fucking thought in their head, Yeah, Bumble Hunter says talking about your problems over and over again leads to rumination, which perpetuates the shit cycle. Pam says the problem with mental illness is you have to want to get better, not use it as everything. Some people like it to stay that way. Well, if you label yourself with all these acronyms and all these medications, then you suffer from, right? I suffer from depression. But I suffer from depression. I suffer from this. Oh, I have ADHD. You've heard people say it in videos. We've covered these things in Balls Deep. I am ADHD. I am neurodivergent. I'm this. I'm neurodivergent. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. It's just this blanket term that people use. They don't want to address the real issues. They don't want to address vaccines. They don't want to address all the poison you give kids. They don't want to address, just the food that we pump into our bodies when you have your child in utero. You're feeding them formula, like all this crap. We're sticking kids, not just the vaccines, but you're also giving children iPads and stuff at 2, 3, 4 years old. They're just staring at a screen. They're just being programmed and blasted. They're not actively doing anything. They're just receiving all this fucking LED blasted light and these stupid fucking songs. And kids programming is garbage. It's awful. You're just brainwashing children. Some of these like kids shows are just mind-numbing, absolute gutter trash. All right. Papa, are you planning on releasing anime Swolio new shirts? We could probably do some anime stuff if there's suggestions. I'm not deep into anime, but I'm open to doing some things that might be funny. We have a Pokemon shirt. We have Pumpachu. We got a Pumpachu merch. Hashtag stay swole for a chance to win today's swole card. Let's move on. If you're watching on Instagram, come on over. Link is in bio on Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole. So come on over, catch the rest of the show. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Links in bio. Let's move on to, let's see what we got here. Let's get into.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
We don't really
That's
have.
deep.
We got a throwback, and we'll give away the swole card if there's any last minute questions. We don't really have anything in Balls Deep for today, really. Oh, we did have this. Today's title is No More Taxpayer Funded Junk Food. I don't think this is actually passed, but didn't RFK say, or did they actually make that move to ban it? So, government bans soda, candy, and other junk food from food stamp eligibility. Was this finalized, or is this something that was proposed? I think that's a great idea. If it is, great. If not, it should be. And there's a lot of people that are saying, but it's freedom of choice. What are these kids are not going to have soda? Oh my God, they can't. It's not their money. If you're getting government handouts, well, it comes with restrictions. I'm paying for your fucking garbage food, and I don't want to pay for your garbage food. So if the government is giving people free fucking food, it shouldn't include garbage. It shouldn't include garbage. I mean, I think very limited. I think there are way too many people that are getting government handouts. These entitlement programs are just out of control. Things like unemployment, if you're temporarily unemployed, it can float you until you find a job, but people manipulate the system, and people just they're living in Section 8 and having 10 fucking kids just to get free handouts, and it's disgusting. So these things should be very limited and very, very specific to help someone get to the next jumping block in an emergency situation, not something that people should just live on. And you shouldn't be buying absolute chemical trash. So, people are going to find their way around this. They're going to sell them for money and cash and blah, blah, blah. So people are still going to eat junk food. It's not going to stop anything. But this is why these big companies, these big food companies, like this. This is why these things are subsidized, because if the government, it's a grant essentially. So when the government says, hey, we're going to give all this money for Frito-Lay and for chips and for soda, guess who makes money? The big food companies. So they have lobbyists that they spend millions of dollars lobbying in government to award all these funds. And essentially it's free money from the government. So the government is subsidizing these major companies. Yeah, those videos are hard to watch. Mark says, I've seen those Walmart grocery haul videos from the EBT community. They just go there and spend $500 or $1,000. It's like, this fucking money out of nowhere. Cool, I'll take some free money. I don't want handouts, but I'm just saying, right? You have people that are non-productive in society getting free fucking money. And they eat garbage, and they waste it all. So, yeah, that's why they're fucking broke. And that's why they're fat and morbidly obese from handouts. Handouts. For shame. For shame. All right, fam, let's get into throwback, and then we'll give away today's Swole card. Hashtag stay swole. We got a TBT. Let's jump on into it. I'm going to pick this one today. This one is, number 2. What we got here? What we got?
Represent the fat women if nobody's fat.
Who's going to represent the fat woman if no one's fat? Guess what? No one.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, dude.
What's going to happen to this movement? What's going to happen to the little girls that are coming up that we fought so hard to have that representation for?
Protect my children, protect my daughter.
You see how it's not about health. It's not about being fat. It's about leveraging power by putting in no effort.
And they're looking around and everybody's got a BBL and everybody's skinny.
Ugh.
There's no one out here representing fat. And hi, I'm fat and I'm just going to be fat because I love, you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
I mean, I'm just really passionate about being who I am. Absolutely. And, representing that.
It's the narcissism. Again, it's the navel gazing and the self-absorption. I'm really passionate about who I am. Well, that makes one of you. This is the best pre-workout. This show is the best pre-workout. It helps you go to the fucking gym, man.
Who told you could eat my cookies?
All right. Today's Swole card is Stay Swole. Let's give this bad boy away. Of course, we have another awesome, amazing show tomorrow. We're going to have that tomorrow morning, so be ready for that. Let's jump into today's Swole card. Are you ready, Beaches? Raffle this one off. Falcon, pick me a winner. Hashtag stay swole. Today's winner. Who dis? Wheezy Diana. Congratulations. Is that Lil Wheezy? Little Wheezy, congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 3378 in the subject, your mailing address in the body of the email. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. We'll do one at the buzzer. One more TBT. Congratulations. Send us that email. We got one more. A little fan, a little bonus. A little bonus for the Swole fam. Enjoy.
Thinking that there's got to be another way other than losing weight, you are right.
Wrong-o.
But it may seem completely unrealistic to you that you could feel anything less than disgust at your body at the moment.
Go to the fucking gym.
Your goal probably shouldn't be to love your body, to be walking around like, this is the best thing ever, this is the body I always wanted.
Why the fuck not?
Instead, I think your goal should be to acknowledge that you are okay as you are.
Bullshit!
And instead of aiming for loving your body and posting pictures of yourself half naked on the internet, I think that your goal should be to simply not think of your body first when you think of things. Like when you think, I want to go do this, to not think, yes, but I'm fat. To not consider your body in that process of decision making.
What the fuck, Jojo Siwa?
Oh my goodness. All right, fam, make it a great day. Go to the fucking gym, eat a steak, get some sun on your nips. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Make sure you turn those notifications on Rumble. I will send you out a Swole text. We'll be probably live around, I would say around 9 to 10 a.m., probably around 10. So we will give you a notification ahead of time. Thanks for being here. We'll have a great show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, Deuce Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at.
topic. My melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons out closets and making new deposits.